Gooseworks has said that she's seen some theories come pretty close to what actually happens, and I think that I've got it. Episode 8 gave me the confidence and confirmation in my theory that I needed to make this video. Let's dive right in. Let's begin with me telling you guys a bit about my theory. The afterlife theory. This theory I've come up with believes that the characters are indeed dead, but not because of the circus. They're in the circus because they're dead. The circus is the afterlife. Why? Well, throughout the history of TADC there have been two main theories, the digital copies theory and the rotting body theory. But what if we were to combine the two? In episode 8 there has been many mentions of neural scans and it just being their minds in the circus, creating bodies for their minds in the circus. So this leads me to believe the digital copy theory. However, Gooseworks has confirmed that they've seen theories come close, but nothing that is accurate to the actual ending. So it can't just be that. Now what if we take the concept of the rotting body theory? This theory believes that the main cast are dead due to not drinking water or eating for months or years. But what if I told you that they were dead before they put on the headset? All throughout episode 8, it was teased that Kane is a god of sorts. He's saying, "I am God," being both an I have my mouth and I'm a scream reference and religious imagery. He shows his true power over them in this episode, making them suffer because they won't obey him. Sound familiar? Episode 8 also explores the idea of Kane potentially creating the digital circus, just like how God created the heavens. You've also got the general gist of him creating adventures for them to go on, summoning them whenever he wants to, all things that a god can do. And then, the man who leads them, Kinga, gets rid of him. Heaven collapses into hell. And what's hell, you may be asking? The cellar. Kane sending those who don't follow his rules and question his authority sounds a lot like being sent to hell for sin. Because we all know that not following God counts as sinning. We also know that Scratch was the first abstraction, and he seems to be questioning Kane at the start of episode 8. Him being sent to hell for questioning Kane. Maybe now that heaven and hell have become one, and since there's no god to separate them, we'll see the abstracted characters next episode. Throwback to episode 7. We weren't sure if Abel was telling the truth was his plan, but in episode 8, Kane says that he gave them answers last episode, meaning that it was all true information. Abel says that they were put in stasis pods, which is pretty similar to the idea of cryostasis, a sci-fi-like idea of preserving the dead. CNA stands for Cain and Abel. Sounds like something a company that gave people an afterlife would call themselves, given the connection to the Bible. You've also got the concept of, in the circus, all you have to do is believe. Belief is the founding pillar of all religion. If Kinga's main idea is getting people to believe, that portrays him as a role of influence, the king. In history, the king has power over what the country believes. As soon as Kinga starts talking, the rest of the humans believe him. But if we go back to Danny No's translation of the episode 8 title, we'll see that it says Kinga lies. Just like how monarchs and religious leaders would often lie to their followers in the terms of religion. For example, saying if they didn't pay them, then they would get sent to hell. Kinga gets rid of the god, people realise that they can do what they want. They can swear. We've also got the imagery of Jax in the electric chair, along with something important about Scratch that hasn't been noticed much yet. Kinga talks about how he had a tumour in his head. Maybe that ended up killing him. And how maybe the car crash that Jax was in didn't kill a child, but killed him. The scene in episode 8 where Ragatha is getting knives thrown at her by what we believe to be her mother, maybe she was killed by her mother. Getting imagery and insinuating of characters dying adds to the idea that they were put in the circus in the afterlife. Not to mention, Gooseworks has insinuated that they don't have a canon design for what the human counterparts would look like, telling us that they probably will not escape. They can't escape because they're not alive anymore. Overall, this theory seems the most likely to me. There isn't any evidence to go specifically against it that I've seen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.